This is COMP2106, Advanced Server-Side Scripting in winter 2019. In this video, I'm just going to be showing you guys how you can deploy your GitHub repo up to Heroku for our Node.js application. So the reason why we have to use Heroku is instead of having just a front-end application that's just using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, this has a server component to it. In the same way that when we have a ASP.NET application that has to be deployed up, usually we've done in past classes in Azure, our Node.js application has to be deployed in the same way. So you can deploy it up to Azure as well as the Google Cloud Platform and AWS. But in this case, what we're going to be deploying up to is Heroku, just because it's quick and easy to do so. So all you have to do is register an account at Heroku.com. It's free, and then you sign in, and then you'll be greeted with this this dashboard. So you'll just click the New button, and you're going to want to do Create New App. And then you just have to name your app. So in this case, I'm going to call it COMP2106 Heroku Demo. And you can just leave the region as US, but if for some reason you want it in Europe, you can do Europe, and those are the two ones that are available on Heroku, especially on the free tier. So you can just click Create App. And this is, in the background, it's going to kick off a bunch of stuff, and you're greeted on the deploy automatically after you create your app. So right now, if you click Open App at the top right, if you open that, this is just the default application that gets loaded when you deploy your Heroku app for the first time before you end up uploading any of the code. So you can see an overview. You can see your activity. Under resources, this most likely won't pertain to a lot of you, but you can do like different add-ons. There's a lot of stuff that Heroku allows you to do in order to have like a web application deployed. And then there's some other sort of stuff, but really the only thing that we're worrying about is the deploy tab. So there's a couple different methods that you can use, but what we're going to be using is the GitHub one. So you just click connect to GitHub. Now I have already authorized my GitHub account with Heroku, but if you haven't done it, you'll just probably have to click connect, and then it will have that GitHub page requesting authorization to use your account. So now that once you have done that, you'll then be greeted with searching your GitHub for your project. So I'm just going to do COMP2106 and then hit search, and I'm just going to deploy week 5 up here. So I can just click connect, and now you'll see it says that it's connected to it. And what we're going to do is we're going to click under automatic deploys. We want to enable automatic deploys. And what that does is, you can read right here, every push to the branch you specify here will deploy a new version of the app. Deploys happen automatically. Be sure that this branch is always in a deployable state and any tests have passed before you push. So what that means is we're choosing the master branch, which is the default branch. Out in the real world, this is like your production, as opposed to something that would be like staging and making sure that it works in the environment as expected. So that way you don't have a, it works on my machine kind of thing. But what you want to do is just click enable automatic deploys. So you can see that it has a green check mark. And if I open the application right now, you'll see that it still has the default application. And that's because we haven't deployed for the first time, or we haven't pushed the code up. So what you can just do is you can just click deploy branch manually and just double check. Most likely you'll only have one branch, but just make sure that you're on the master branch, and then click deploy. So you can see here that it goes through, has a little log. If I open this up, you'll see that it has a full amount of stuff. So it says detected Node.js. It does some stuff, for example, setting our node environment to production. So this just does some sort of performance stuff in the background using like Express as well as the node in general. It will download our dependencies. So you can see right here where it's installing our node modules. You can see nodemon being installed there. And then it's going to cache them, which is great because the next time that we go to deploy the application, such as new code, those node modules will already be cached. So it'll be a lot quicker in order to do it. And then it prunes out dev dependencies. So this is why when we install nodemon, it's usually good to install it as a dev dependency. So that way it gets pruned out, so that way we don't have any dependencies that we don't actually need for production, whereas nodemon is used in development. And then you can see that it says build successful, and then it is launching, and then it says that it was deployed to Heroku. So now if I refresh, you'll see here is our application that we did in class, and if I go to /articles, you'll see this is the part in our class that we used for articles. And then I can create an article, submit it, deploy it correctly, and here it is right here. So that's how you deploy your GitHub repository up to Heroku. You just want to make sure that if you are not deploying any code up, that it will, you click the deploy from button right at the bottom, so where you deploy a specific GitHub branch. Other than that, every single time that you push up to GitHub automatically, it will automatically put the latest code on your Heroku application. The other thing that I'm going to show, I said I wasn't, but just because I'm already doing this, I might as well, is how to attach a domain name to your application. So somewhere in here, right here, under settings, there is a domain and certificate section. So by default, when you deploy up to Heroku, you actually get it's considered SSL protected. So it gives you a certificate, and that's only on the heroku.app domain. So COMP2106 herokudemo.herokuapp.com, that is behind an SSL certificate. But if I wanted to use my own domain, that's where you would have to use your own SSL certificate. And you have to upgrade to a paid dyno, which is what an application is called on Heroku. You have to upgrade to the paid tier if you want to use your own SSL certificate. But what we're going to do is we're going to add a domain. And in this case, I'm going to use herokudemo.northot.ca. And this is a domain that I own. And the part that's at the beginning is called a subdomain. So I'm just going to save those changes. And then you get what is called a DNS target. And this is what we use on our domain that we have in order to let, if someone queries this domain name, herokudemo.northot.ca, it will query it and know where to redirect to. So I'm going to go into my domains. So I have my domains done through Google Domains. And what I can do is I can go into here and click Manage, go to DNS, and this interface is going to look different depending on which provider for your domain that you're using. In this case, I've recommended to use Namecheap just because you get one free domain through the GitHub student package, but it'll be a pretty similar interface for most things. Ooh, I just deleted something that I did not mean to delete. That's fine. So here I'm going to create a custom resource record. And what I want to do for that is I want to take this DNS target that's right here, and I want to copy that into the IPv4 address. And the other thing that I want to do is, instead of an @ symbol, I want to take this Heroku demo. So that is this part that's right here, the name, that is going to be the subdomain. And also just make sure that you use the correct DNS target. So right here it says supply this as your DNS provider for the destination of CNAME or alias records. So that means that right here you can just do a CNAME and make sure that that's there, click add, And it sometimes takes a little bit just for this to populate, so it might be instant. Sometimes it can be, sometimes it's not. So northot.ca. So sometimes takes a little bit, you just gotta wait. But eventually, if we try it, it should come in. So I'm just gonna wait. There we go. So now you can see that I'm using my custom domain to being able to go to my application. And as I mentioned, it's not using an SSL certificate because you have to upgrade to the paid version if you want to use your own domain name with an SSL certificate. But for what we're going to be doing, we don't need one. So that's how you use your custom domain to redirect to your Heroku application, and also how you deploy from GitHub to Heroku. So thanks for watching.